In Tennessee, we chose to go with project-based assessment as opposed to standardized testing. First of all, because as part of their state standardized testing, they are given some multiple choice or some multiple guess questions. But we wanted to take civics from being flat learning into how can I actually impact my community? What does civics look like if I'm up and I'm engaged? So in order to do that, we want students to look at community problems, to make it relevant to them, problems that students choose, and therefore they're more actively engaged. We want to look at the knowledge, the skills, those dispositions that students learn that cannot be measured on a multiple choice test. Getting a law passed for project-based assessment in Tennessee and civics has been a long, drawn-out process. It's about making relationships. It's about nurturing those relationships. It's about showing the policymakers what students can do if given the opportunity. The steps that we followed is we began with the Civic Mission of Schools, with the congressional conferences. We created a Tennessee Commission. We did the surveys that showed that civics was lacking in Tennessee. We created, through the Tennessee Department of Education, 9 exemplary schools in civics across the state of Tennessee. Those schools were very successful in more ways than one. They showed student increased knowledge in social studies and in reading. It showed that students came to school more because they were actively engaged. It also showed a decrease in inappropriate behaviors. So we had that data to go with. So then we started bringing these 9 exemplary schools, the students from those schools, together to Nashville, to our legislators. We started bringing our legislators into the schools to see what was going on. So once those two combined and the legislators saw that students actually had a voice and they could do lots of activities, lots of good in the community, it was relevant work, then it was real easy. Now, for the last 5 years, there's been a bill passed in the Tennessee legislature that has to do with civics. It would be that government should be taught, rights and responsibilities should be taught, but we all know that if it's not tested, it's not taught. So with that in mind, Senator Mark Norris and Representative Kevin Brooks said, okay, let's put some teeth to it. So without a lot of money, actually without any money, but we provided them with the appropriate documentation and the research and data they needed, it was easy then to get 100% of the Tennessee senators to say absolutely civics is important and the way to do it is project-based. Well, there are challenges in implementation. First of all, who decides what is civics? The way our bill is set up in Tennessee is that each school district would decide what is civics, what does it look like, and they'll send a report to the State Department of Education. So implementation is when your work really begins. Getting the bill passed was so easy. So one of the challenges today is we want a common report, not 129 separate reports. So we're working diligently with the Department of Education to come up with a common report, also to come up with what has to be in that report, that there are minimal activities that have to take place to make sure that it is project-based, that students have done research, they know about the government, both the state and the U.S. constitutions. So our work has only just begun. So we have many challenges, one of them being lack of professional development, one of being teacher training at a higher ed level is the teachers are coming to us without that training.